Hello, my friends. Brian King, the Mindset King here. I just finished a wonderful conversation with my clients. Weekly, we get together and talk about how to improve our relationships. And one thing that came up today is relationships with other professionals, whether they be mental health professionals, business coaches like myself. And sometimes we can put some of these people up on a pedestal to the point where when they tell us something, we immediately take it as true or superior in some way, and we don't take the time to question it. And one thing I found with all the people I'm exposed to, there's a lot of people that I look up to in social media as far as people I consider to be experts. And they talk about the results they get. And they talk about how well researched and tested their approaches are and so on. And then they say, this is the only way to succeed. This is the best way to succeed. If you do this, you will get that result. And then you go and do it, you don't get that result, and you start beating yourself up. Well, here's something that came up in our meeting today that I highly recommend that you begin instituting right away in your thinking. And that is, if it doesn't feel right to you, if it doesn't resonate, question it. I don't care who says it. If I say it, if a parent says it, if a spouse, if a good friend who's an expert, if one of the gurus says it, but it just doesn't feel right, question it. Because it's quite possible that the person they're speaking to, or they've seen this work 100 times for people, whatever it is they're advocating. But when it comes to your situation, it doesn't work. Because there's something different about your situation. Case in point, I work with entrepreneurs that have some kind of a disability or a condition that requires them to manage their time, their energy, to structure their business very differently than what the gurus who are able-bodied preaches to them because of that condition. And able-bodied people will say, do this, do this, do this, do this, hustle, grind, work these ridiculous hours. Somebody with a chronic condition like myself, that's simply not going to work. But that doesn't mean that the way they're preaching is the way, the best way, and if you don't do it that way, you can't succeed. Not true. It's true for the people that works for, but for folks like us, we need to do something differently. We need to modify, we need to customize, and I hope that when you hear people talking like that, this is the way, this is the best way, that you allow it some time to kind of sit, marinate a little bit in your mind, feel it in your gut, feel it in your heart. If it doesn't feel right, there are a lot of reasons for that. You could be making excuses, right? You could be rationalizing. You could be in denial. Or you could be correct and that it's simply not a good fit. When you question it, you give yourself that little time, that buffer, to sit back and say, man, that just doesn't feel right. I need to just let this sit, not I need to think about it. Because when you think about it, you can do a whole lot of jumping jacks and tricks in your head, reasons or ways to poo-poo it, minimize it, rationalize it. That doesn't help you. But if you just let it sit and say, you know what, I'm just going to kind of put this in the background, let my brain play with it, look at it for a while, and eventually it'll surface whether something else was in the way, like, well, you know what, it just kind of hit me in my excuses. And that's why it didn't feel right, because I really wasn't ready to confront that in me yet. Or I was in denial about whether this would work for me or not because I was afraid. I was anxious about all the work that would be involved. Or, and this is what I'm really speaking about in this episode here, or it's simply a matter of, regardless of this person's claim that this is the way, the best way, the most time-tested way, the way I got to do it, I just know this isn't right for me. It's just not a good fit. And it's okay to disagree with the guru or the expert and say, yeah, you got these wonderful testimonials, you got all this great stuff going for you, but this doesn't feel right for me. So I'm not going to beat myself up and think, I'm not good enough for your system, I'm not smart enough for your system because I can't do it your way. Okay, it's made for some other people, but it's not made for me. And the same goes for what I teach people. And I even said it on the call this morning. I said, you have every right, and I encourage you to disagree with me or question what I'm saying if it doesn't feel right to you. Because we need to explore why that is. Is it because you're standing in your own way? Is it because something that I said or suggested is getting in the way of the story you've told yourself? Or is it simply, hey, Bri, you know what? With the person I am, the situation I am in life, this is not going to work for me. We need to find something else. And that ultimately is what you're going for. Find the way that works for you. You don't want to get sucked into this generic all or nothing approach where this is my system, this is my approach, it's time tested, it works for everybody. No, it doesn't. It won't. You need something that is going to work for you, something that's customized to your values, your lifestyle, your particular strengths and challenges, whether you have a chronic condition, a disability. If you can customize it around the way you show up in this world, you can make a profound impact in a way that you never could if you were trying to shove yourself into a box that was made to work for everyone. So no matter who makes the claim, me or somebody else, if it doesn't resonate, question it. Because chances are you're right. It's not a good fit for you, and you need to keep hunting for what is a good fit. And chances are you're going to find something that's close to a perfect fit, and then you're going to do a lot of tweaking until it fits you just right. Hopefully this has been useful for you, and think about some friends of yours that'll be useful to as well, so you can share it with them. And I want to get to know you better and what it is that you need from me. So I'm going to drop a link below this episode that is a link to sign up for a 15-minute call with me where we're going to focus on one subject and I'm going to help you find a solution. Sound cool? All right. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to share this out so that people can get help with this as well. And until next time, this has been Brian. Thanks for being you.